welcome back to my channel. So we are gonna do a Q&A. I was gonna say a guest, but I guess you were in my last video, so not really, but we're gonna do a Newlywed Q&A. So basically I just asked you guys a bunch of questions, I think it was actually like 2 weeks ago at this point. But yeah, I asked you guys some questions on my story, and I'm just gonna take some of those and we're gonna answer them. That'll be super fun.
Let's get it.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just...
And just for the record, I haven't looked at any of these questions. I have absolutely no idea what you guys asked.
It's nothing, it's pretty, they're good, it's good. Okay, so some of these we can answer together, some of them will just be me, and some will be you, so.
Okay.
This one is how did he propose? So this might be someone that never saw the post or whatever, because I posted it a while ago when it happened. But, so, this was June of last year. It was January, March, April, May, 6 months after we moved to Arizona. And Alex surprised me with the trip to Sedona, which is in Arizona, which we both really wanted to go to. And I didn't really think anything of it because he had like a good month in business, and so I kind of just thought that we were celebrating, and plus we both love to just take trips and do stuff, so I wasn't suspicious at all. So we went on a trip to Sedona, and if you guys have never been to Sedona, it's one of the most amazing places that we've ever been. Like I said, it's in Arizona, and it's like a world of its own. I can't even explain it. It's so pretty. But anyway, so we went there, and it was amazing, and the whole trip was honestly just like one of my favorite trips that I've ever taken.
It was a blast. Yeah.
And we just like rented an Airbnb, and we brought the dog, and we were doing things just like as the weekend went on. And then I don't remember which day. It was the second day we were there? Or the third?
Yeah,
probably the second, right?
The second, yeah.
So it was the second day we were there, and we were gonna go out to dinner, I believe, or something, and then Alex said that he had something small planned for before dinner. So I figured it might have been like four-wheeling or I don't know, just something like that. And so we pull up to the airport, and my first thought was that we were going skydiving, and I was like, I'm not. For those of you who don't know, I'm not an adrenaline junkie type person. I love adventure and I love traveling, but I like safety. So I don't like anything crazy or, stuff like that is not my thing. So I'm like, I am absolutely not going skydiving, because I didn't know what else we would be doing at the airport. And then when I looked around, I saw like helicopters everywhere. So then I realized we were going in a helicopter, like over Sedona, over the mountains and stuff. And I was still really terrified. I'm not afraid to be on like a normal plane, but a helicopter that only fits 4 people is totally different. And I was so nervous.
She almost failed.
I know, I told you, I was like, I don't know if I want to go. I did not want to go. I was so scared. And just while we were waiting, I was just like trying to fight tears because I didn't want to go because I was so scared. But we got up in the air, and it was so cool, and I was really nervous at first, but what made me less nervous was that the pilot, he like talked throughout the whole thing, if you remember. He would like tell us what we were going over.
Like a tour, basically.
Yeah, and so I'm like, all right, well, if he's calm, then I know everything is fine. So any little bump or whatever that I felt, I knew was normal, because he was just going on about the tour, and he was fine. So it ended up being absolutely amazing. It was probably like a 30-minute tour, and it was just like nothing else that I've ever done. And I did get extremely nauseous like the last 10 minutes, which I get really car sick and motion sickness and all that like super easily. So, and I was sitting backwards, but they place you based on like your weight and stuff, so like you couldn't choose your seat. And so, yeah, the last 10 minutes I was sitting there thinking, what am I gonna throw up in? Because I was so sick. But it was, like I said, at least the first like 20 minutes were totally enjoyable, and I didn't feel sick at all. And then as soon as we landed, like nauseousness went completely away, and I felt totally fine. And overall, I still really enjoyed it and felt like it was so worth it, because it was outside my comfort zone, but it was very fun, and it was just amazing. So then when we landed, he had everybody that worked there in on what he was doing. And so after we got off the helicopter, they said, we can take your guys' picture in front of the helicopter. And so the lady went to go take our picture, but she actually had it on video, and then that's when he proposed.
It was pretty cool. I surprised her.
I was so shocked, and like looking back at it, it's funny that even when we got on the helicopter, I was not suspicious.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty extravagant to just think, oh, we're just doing this. Like I didn't have any idea. And it's funny because, we've been together for quite some time, so it's not like it was a shock, but we had talked about getting married, and I just really thought that he would wait another like 6 months or a year to propose. So it was really cool because it really was completely unexpected, and I was so happy, and I was crying in the van with all the other people that were going on the tour. And then everyone caught on to why I was crying. It was cool and everyone was excited. So that's how I did it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of our trip was amazing and it was awesome. It was honestly just perfect. So it's really awesome.
We had a good time.
Yeah. Okay. That was kind of long, but I guess proposal story is probably always there. So, okay. The next one, I'll let you kind of answer a little bit more. So the next one, how did we meet?
So we met through back in high school, actually. So I'm 27 years old. So high school was a long time ago, almost 10 years ago, which is crazy. And we met through just mutual friends. And it's funny because when we first met, the first like year, maybe even 2 years that we were like in the same friend group, we actually didn't even like each other.
You're ruining another question.
Oh, all right. Well, this is what happened though, you know, we met, I mean, I guess the short answer is we met in high school just through mutual friends. An old friend of mine started dating her actually, and that's what brought her into the friend group. And then that was actually one of the reasons why I didn't like her, because I thought she was ruining our friend group, which is so funny.
Because you didn't have girls in there before me.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then just over the years, you know, we were, mutual friends for a couple years, and then we became like actual friends for a couple years, and then we started dating. So it was, a whole process.
So high school though.
Yeah, high school.
So people are always like, oh, you're high school sweethearts, but definitely not.
Yeah, no, we weren't.
But we have been friends for almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
but...
it is crazy to think about that.
Yep. All right. So next question is, this is a funny one. Is he okay with being your Instagram husband?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, I also do Instagram as well. So we both actually got into Instagram around the same time. I think I actually got into it before you did, technically. But yeah, so not really. I mean, it's fun. I make her take pictures of me too. So.
I was just going to say, he's worse than I am, like out in public. On the Bali trip,
She's worse.
No, on the honeymoon, it was constant.
Because I wanted to get everything, though. I didn't want to miss anything, you know what I mean? But I didn't make her take a billion of the same pose. See, that's what she does. She'll like do her thing, and then it's like it's a great picture, and she doesn't like it. I think she looks pretty, but
whatever. All right. So, all right. What's the next one? How do we resolve fights?
We just get into it, Throw some bows. No, I don't know. You answer that one.
All right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't really say we like fight. I guess I don't know what people consider fighting. Like, we don't ever like yell at each other or like not talk to each other for an entire day. Like, so I guess it depends what you mean by fighting. I mean, obviously we disagree sometimes on things, and we'll get annoyed at each other or, upset with one another a little bit, but both of us are very, very, big into just like working on ourselves, working on our relationship with each other, working on our relationship with God, and just personal development and stuff. And so I think that when you grow yourself individually, it helps with all of your relationships, and especially like your really close relationships. When you have a strong mindset and you're mature in your faith and in your habits and stuff like that, it helps you to resolve any issues that you have in your relationships. So we just try to really put ourselves in the other person's shoes. I think that's something that we both really try to do. And if one of us is upset about something or we disagree on something, like we just have a conversation about it. We don't ever like try to make the other person feel bad or just like, yell at each other or anything like that. It's just like a conversation, like let's resolve this. And a lot of times, like if we get annoyed at each other, sometimes we'll just like be annoyed and then we go separate ways, and then we come back an hour later and like we just like are laughing. Like it's like if it's something that's actually not a big deal, like you should never push things under the rug, but most of the things that we just disagree on or argue is just like totally not a big deal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would just say like if you're with someone and you're like fighting or arguing all the time, even though it's hard to like take responsibility, I think that a lot of times if we just like look at ourselves and our own like I said, personal development and where it's kind of at, sometimes a lot of the issues could be coming, within ourselves. So try not to always point the finger at the other person, and maybe it is the other person and it's time to move on. But yeah, you should never be like fighting or arguing on a daily basis with the person that you're with, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What she said.
And one other thing too. Well, this is kind of going off of that, but I would say like one of the reasons that we don't really like fight that much or like get in like big arguments is because like we started as friends, mm-hmm. and so we had this like mutual respect and like friendship, and like I just like genuinely don't want to hurt his feelings, you know, like, so I don't know. I think when you like make friendship the basis of your relationship and like you do things as friends, that's really important. Like a lot of people have like separate relationships. I feel like
right.
Here's my friends and then here's like my girlfriend.
Right.
And it's just like, not that you always have to do everything with that person, but like seeing them as one of your friends, I think is like really important.
Yeah, definitely.
That kind of makes sense. So, yeah. Okay. What do you like most about each other? You start.
What do we like most, man? Just there's a lot. If I had to pick just, I guess, one or just a couple of things, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably say I really like the fact that you are just so positive every day and energetic. You know, like you just truly do. Like, for example, doing this, like the YouTube stuff, and it's just fun to see you just like excited and positive about it and talking about it, and you translate that into a lot of areas of life. So, you know, just the overall energy, and energy is important, you know, it can really build you up or drain you. And I feel like a lot of people have relationships where they're just draining each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously no one's perfect, but the majority of the time when we're together, I definitely feel more lifted up, more positive overall, and again, all kind of aspects of life when, you know, we're together. So
that's nice. If I had to say my thing, I put this in our vows if you remember, but
of course I remember.
The way, not only like the way you treat me, that's one thing, like you genuinely treat me like a queen, like pretty much, like you're like very servant driven, but you're not just like that with me. You're like that with like everybody. Like you treat everybody kindly and with respect, and like you treat my family like your own family, but even like strangers, just the way that you interact with servers at restaurants or just whatever. You're just very friendly. You're very like grateful towards people. That's like one of the things that stands out for me. All right. Okay, so yeah, this one was what I said. You kind of answered earlier, but how did you feel about each other when you first met? So we
did already answer.
We didn't
really
like
each other.
Yeah, I thought he was rude. He thought I was annoying and maybe rude as well. Because if he was rude, I would call him out for being rude, and then so he thought I was rude. I could have been rude.
We also were just different too, you know. Like I mean, that was 10 years ago. That was before we got into entrepreneurship. That was before we got into any sort of personal growth, development. You know, before we started making money, building businesses, like, so it's just, we were just immature high school kids, you know, so.
Yeah, I was 15 when I met you, so I'm sure it's a little different.
Crazy.
Yeah, so, okay. Have you ever broken up before or thought you wouldn't end up together at any point? No.
Yeah, no, not really.
Not really?
Well, we never broken up before, but I mean, obviously when we had some rocky starts, not with each other, but just like our environment, you know, when we were considering dating, basically.
Oh, true. If you're talking about that, yeah, because like we said, we had the same friend group, and I dated someone that was both of our friend, and you know, it was just
kind of
it was a weird situation, and so we just thought like we really, really liked each other, but we just didn't know if we could ever be together because we felt like people would be mad at us or judge us, or we would hurt people's feelings, and so we didn't know what to do. It was a very sticky situation, but
it was a good lesson there, and it's just totally that you should seriously never care what other people's opinions are of you, because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, so many of the people that we were worried about what they would think aren't even in our lives.
Yeah,
I mean, like, literally, they're not even part of our lives anymore. And
so imagine if we would have let their opinion dictate what we did, we wouldn't be married. You know,
and a lot of the people that we were worried about, you know, they ended up being super happy and they were excited about it, and they were like, "Oh, we saw it coming," you know. So it's just, it is funny. Like, you look back and you have that saying for a reason that hindsight's 20/20, it's perfect vision, because it really is, you know. But seriously, don't let people dictate the course of your life,
especially if it's something that you feel is really right for your life. Like, if you're making a decision in your life based on other people's opinions, you're never ever going to be happy. Like, thank God we didn't do that, because I would have thought about him for the rest of my life, like in future relationships, because I knew he was the one, you know. So that would have really sucked. So yeah, all right. What did Alex think about your scoliosis at first? Did you even like?
I don't know.
Even
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know. Like, I don't remember having negative or positive feelings about it, to be honest with you.
Well, in high school, I just like I totally wasn't insecure about it, and I feel like
I think
when
because
you don't
you
acknowledge
weren't,
something yourself, no one else. I never talked about it. I never, whatever. So it's just like.
I remember like once we did start becoming friends and stuff, I never really thought it was like a big deal. The way I kind of looked at it was just everybody has issues, and honestly, everybody has physical flaws, if you will, too. A lot of people just are really good at covering them up, but at the core, like, we all have that stuff. Everyone has things they're insecure about, and you always say that. When I get like that sometimes, and it's like, so yeah, no, I don't really think it was a big deal.
All right. I think there's only one more. Favorite part about your wedding?
A lot of people ask us this. It's hard to give an exact. There was different parts. Like, there was, for me, I can't really give a single favorite part, because there really was, like, it was broken into totally different vibes. Like, the beginning of the day, it was like me and my groomsmen getting ready, and that was fun, in itself. And then it was the ceremony, which I actually really loved. The ceremony was so much fun. And just the whole thing, like, it wasn't even one part over another. It was just the entire process, the whole 30-40 minutes that we were actually getting married. I remember just standing there really trying to, like, soak in the whole experience. And so that was a blast. And then the reception obviously was a blast, getting to just party with the people that we love most, So yeah, they were all different. I mean, if I had to choose like one part, that stuck out, I did really enjoy at the reception. There was a part where we had, like, everyone who has ever done, like, business with us and has ever worked with us in the past, and come up to, like, the dance floor, and we all, like, danced together and had a good time. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick, like, one thing that was, like, my favorite, because they were all great in different ways, know? However, like, something that stood out to me, which you already know, I mean, I just have to bring it up. At the ceremony, I was, like, really nervous. I mean, I'm sure every bride is. Like, before you're walking down the stairs, I had stairs and then an aisle, and I was, like, gonna puke. I was so nervous, but the ceremony ended up being really great, because I somehow held my composure. I didn't even shed a tear, and I cry at, like, movies, other people's weddings, everything. Like, I get emotional. If I see other people cry, I cry. Whatever. So I was, like, really worried about it, because I just thought I would totally lose it at my wedding and just embarrass myself. But I held it together. I think it was adrenaline, to be honest. Like, I think I was so just, like, worked up that, like, I didn't even cry. And then when I started walking down the aisle, and when we did our vows and everything, I just, like, really focused on him. Like, I was just, like, especially when we did our vows, I was just pretending like no one else was there, because I'm like, otherwise I'm gonna be nervous, and, like, that's not what should be about. It should just be about, me and you. So my favorite part was when I was walking down the aisle, I looked at him, and he was crying, and I've only seen him cry for very sad, like, dramatic things that had happened in his life, and it's only a handful of times in the past 10 years. So I've never seen you cry of, like, joy or anything like that. So I was really shocked. I mean, I thought he might tear up a little bit at our wedding, but I was really surprised that he was just, like, actually crying. And then when he did his vows, he kept having to stop because he was crying. And I was like, but to me, it's like, it just showed how much this meant to him and how much I mean to him, and the fact that he got that emotional, like, that stood out to me, and it made me just feel so good, because, I mean, obviously, So that's something that I wouldn't say that was my favorite part of the wedding, but it's just something that really stands out to me, that brought me a lot of, like, joy and gratitude on that day. But yeah, just spending the time with everyone was amazing.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is there was such good food and such good dessert, and we had, like, the s'mores bar and, like, late night pizza, and I had no appetite. Were you like that?
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't
No appetite. Like, I didn't eat that entire day. Again, I think it's just, like, adrenaline, nerves, like, everything combined. But it was so sad, because I kept trying to, and then, like, the place gave us, like, those macaroons and, like, this little
I did eat the macaroon.
private dinner. I ate one, but it's like I didn't even enjoy it, because it wasn't like it tasted bad, but I was just like, I love food and dessert, so the fact that I didn't get to enjoy that on our wedding is, like, my only regret. I'm like, oh, dang, that sucks. Like, I kept trying to enjoy it, but yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. That's all the questions.
All right. Sounds good. That was fun.
Yeah.
You guys crushed it.
All right. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, or you think of anything else, you guys can leave them in the comments, and we will answer them later. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.